Hey, how's it going, Filippo?
Hello. Yeah, good. Thank you.
Good, good, awesome. Welcome to class. Where are you from, Filippo?
I'm from Italy.
From Italy.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Great country.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Have
I
you
haven't
been in Italy?
I haven't been, but I've heard a lot of good things. A lot of Italian people. I
Yeah.
know a lot of Italian people, so it's a nice country from what I hear.
Yeah.
What part of Italy?
Milan, in the north.
Milan. The north, yeah, absolutely. A lot of fashion, a lot of food, a lot of
Yeah.
great places. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
you? Where are you from?
I live in Madison, Wisconsin. Madison is about 2 hours from Chicago, so north central United States. It's pretty cold.
Okay.
Uh, not a lot happening here. Definitely not as international a city as Milan.
But it's
Milan is much
America.
more internet. How long have you been studying on Colingo?
From maybe 1 month, circa
Oh,
3 weeks.
nice. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been teaching on Colingo maybe for 3 months now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice to have you in class.
Thank
Have you been learning English for longer than that, or is Colingo your first English learning?
I study English in school. So in high school, in medium school,
Nice,
and
nice.
during university, I'm studying some article in English or some book in English too. So I read more than speak English
Mm-hmm.
this year,
Yeah,
and now I
that's
have to speak in English.
yeah. You have to build your conversation skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice, nice. That's good. No, it's always good. I've seen a lot of students who have really improved their communication just by speaking with us, speaking in normal conversation about different topics. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to see where you go. Have you noticed that it's been easier, that it's becoming easier for you now to speak?
Yeah, in this month, maybe something, not so much, but something is going up.
Hmm.
Uh, I see. I know that when I speak, it's not so fluently, and I make a lot of mistakes. But
Yeah.
some week ago, I I was more in stuck when I speak in English.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It takes time. It takes time to develop that confidence, to develop your ideas. But I think when you practice, it gets a lot better. You get to experience more of you get to experience that learning when you are practicing well, maybe regularly, like once a day. If you speak 1 hour, I think that's a big
Yeah,
improvement. Yeah,
yeah, unfortunately, I study in Colingo only 1 hour a day.
yeah.
I
That's
will
still
do more than
that's still
once.
good. Yeah.
I
It's still
hope so.
good, at least if it's 1 hour a day, then that's definitely something that gives you more of a progress than maybe, 1 hour a week for obviously, right? So it's good, yeah. As much as you can do, I think that would be helpful to you. Awesome, awesome. So yeah, Filippo, we're just going to be waiting maybe for a couple more minutes. I wanted to begin though by asking a question. So today's article that we're going to be looking at later on, today we are going to be focusing first on the personal pronouns in English. So we use personal pronouns. It's a very fancy way of saying that, they are the words that we use to talk about subjects and objects in English. So, for example, I, you, he, she, it, we, they, these are pronouns, and we have subject pronouns and we have object pronouns. So, we're going to be focusing on those first, and then in the second part of the class, we are going to be looking at um, kind of an advanced article. I am going to see if we can maybe find something else that's a little bit interesting. It's about the moon, and so NASA is developing a new satellite communication system that allows satellites in space to communicate easier uh, with places on Earth. So a lot of different technology, a lot of different technological advancements over the past couple of years, right? I mean, the internet, computers, everything that we now have in our homes did not exist many years ago, or even 10, 15 years ago, they weren't as um, available as they are today. So, just wanted to begin the conversation by asking you, Filippo, which kinds of technology do you use frequently? Do you maybe tablets, smartphones, laptops? What are the things you use most frequently?
Much frequently, I use the PC, the laptop,
Uh-huh.
which is an Asus from 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I use more, maybe more than laptop actually, the smartphone.
Yeah.
Uh, yeah, because it's portable, no, and you can use it in any kind of situation, and yeah, it's very useful.
Yeah,
Uh,
smartphones, they have everything on them, right? You use apps of different kinds.
yeah, you can connect to the world via smartphones. You can do a lot of things.
Yeah, I almost feel like there's nothing you can't do on a smartphone, right? I mean,
Yeah,
you can order food, you can call people, you can go online, you can look at the weather, see what the weather is like, everything. I mean, uh, what do you use your phone for most? Is it for to call people or for all the other stuff that you can do?
other stuff,
Yeah,
surely.
yeah, right. People play games on their phones too. I never really understood that part. I mean, for video games, I like to play maybe computer or like PlayStation, Xbox, but I don't know why people. I mean, because the screen is so small, right? For me, it's difficult to. Well, also it depends on the phone. I think the
Yeah.
Samsung Galaxy S4 has a really large screen, I think.
Yeah,
Uh,
I have a smartphone that is similar to the Galaxy S4.
yeah,
So
so you have a
I
larger screen?
play Flash games. Yeah, maybe. I think that is surely little than a laptop, but
Yeah,
in some way, when you are on the bed and you want to take you want to sleep, playing some minutes in some stupid games could favorite the sleeping.
yeah, yeah. Just to get you, yeah, people do it all the time. Like, for example, if you're waiting for somebody, many times if I'm on a plane,
Yeah,
I'll
yeah.
just to pass time, right? Just to pass time.
Hmm.
Absolutely. So, yeah, technology I think is really used for so many different things now. And this is a little bit more, the article we're going to look at is more focused on space technology, but I think it's still going to be interesting. So, let's get started, Filippo. It doesn't seem like anybody else is going to join. So, personal pronouns, right? How do we use personal pronouns in English? So, generally, when we look at personal pronouns, we look at the subject form. So, in English, what are the different types of subjects, right? So we have, for example, subject personal pronouns, right? And I would say, for example, uh, the first one would be I, right? So I do something, right? This is very basic. I do something. So the first subject pronoun is I, right? Another subject pronoun is you, right? I do something, you do something, right? So you is another one. What's another one, Filippo, that you can think of?
He, she, it.
Yeah, exactly. He, she, it, right? And then there are three more. What are the other three, if you can remember?
Maybe they, we,
Uh-huh. We, they, and then you got one more now. Just one more.
as No, we,
We use everything except for, so we said I, you singular, right? Then he, she, it, we, and they. So there's one last one. It's a little bit complicated.
uh,
It's you plural,
yeah,
right?
actually I don't remember. Wow.
Yeah, yeah, it happens. It happens because it's something that we don't really use, right? We sometimes, if you're speaking to more than one person in English, we still say you. We don't change the form, right? So many people don't really mention it, but it is
Is
there, right? Yeah. I is me, first person singular. You is second person singular. He, she, it is third person singular. What about we? What's we, Filippo?
is uh, I in plural.
Yeah, first person in plural form,
Yeah.
right? So in English, when we say first person, the focus is what we're really saying is it's I or it's me, right? First person means I. Second person really means you, and third person is like somebody else, right? Somebody else is third person. So we can say, for example, we is I plural, right? Because
Mhm.
it's more of us. What about you plural? Is that first person, second person, third person?
You plural is the same. You can use it as it is it the second person.
Yeah, exactly, right. So you is always second person, right? If you're talking to somebody, that's always second person. If you're talking about yourself or you are in a group of people, like we are, we are from Milan, then you use the first person. Those are all first person. And if it's not you and not yourself, then you talk about somebody else is the third person. So do you think, which one is they then, do you think, Filippo? Is they first person,
Uh,
second person?
is not a singular person, but is a group of other person of
Exactly.
some group else. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. So they would be third person, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, they would be third person. So when we look at the first person examples, first person singular is I, right? First person plural is we, right? And
Mhm.
then you can say second person singular and plural. Both of them are just you, right? You, one person, you, 500 people. Doesn't matter, right? And then third person singular is he, she, it, and third person plural is they, right? So personal pronouns can be used in many of these ways, right? When we talk about them, normally we use subject personal pronouns. Very easy. It's just who are you talking about? Am I talking about I will do something, he will do something, she likes chocolate, he likes vanilla, whatever the situation. So any questions on this part so far, Filippo?
Uh, just one. When we
Yeah.
use it
hmm
could refer mm, to an animal or an
Yeah.
object.
Yes, yes, exactly, right? So it can definitely be an animal. It can also be any object, right? It is like this, my phone, it is black, right?
Mm-hmm.
It is black. So if you don't have a female or male gender for an object, then you can say it. Sometimes you might know that an animal is maybe like, you know, like a panda or a bear or something is a female bear, right? Then you can say she is the baby's mother, right? Even if you're talking about animals, you can use she. But if you don't know the gender, then it is a very safe choice. Definitely for objects and also for animals.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. No, that's a great question. So these are the subject pronouns, right? And we saw the first person, second person, third person, and we also saw the plural and the singular. There is one other thing that makes pronouns different, right? So we have subject pronouns. We also have object pronouns, right? So this is where it gets a little bit confusing for folks. So, for example, if I always love to think of subject and object with the example that somebody is giving something to somebody else. That's the example that I use all the time, right? So if somebody is giving something to somebody else, if I am giving a gift to my sister, then my sister is the object, right? She is receiving that gift. She is receiving that action from me, right? And I am the subject, right? So I give a gift to my sister. My sister is the object, and I am the subject, right? So when we look at it this way, pronouns change forms when we go from subject to object. That's really where things get a little bit different. So in the subject form, I can say, I give Filippo a music CD or something, right? So in that example, Filippo is the
Object.
fantastic, right? If I don't want to say, I give Filippo a music CD, what is another way that I can say that in English? Using a pronoun.
Him.
You can say, yeah, I give him
Him.
a music CD, right?
Yeah.
So that's the difference, right? Object pronouns are different from subject pronouns because you are saying, I give this to him, right? Or I give the music CD to him. For my sister, I gave or I give a gift to her, right? So him and her, these are object pronouns, right? So let's take a look at the other ones, right? Let's make a list just like we did for the subject pronouns, right? So the object pronouns, what is the object pronoun, Filippo, for I?
Me.
Yeah, fantastic, right? What's a sentence with me that you could make, maybe?
Uh, this CD has been given to me.
Fantastic, fantastic. This CD has been given to me, right? What about what's the object pronoun for you?
That CD has been given to you.
Yeah, so it's the same word, right?
Mhm.
It's the same word. You never changes. You in the subject pronoun was you, and the object pronoun is also you, right? So it actually doesn't change. Um, what was the object pronoun for he? We did talk about it very briefly.
Mm, uh, we have to give this bottle to him.
Him, right? Fantastic. So him is the object form of he. And what was the object version of she again?
Her.
Her. Fantastic. I give this to her. And then, let me see. Do we have one for? Yeah, we do actually. We can give it. We can use it. So what is the object pronoun for it?
Actually, I don't know. Maybe it
It
is.
is it. Same
Yeah.
same thing. Yeah, it's the exact
Same
same thing, right?
as you.
Yeah, I gave it to it. Oh, that sounds a little weird. I gave the food to, for example, see, when we say it in English, it has to sound correct. I gave it to, or, I'm trying to think of a sentence using it. It's not the easiest thing to think about. Um, for example, I gave it food, right?
Mhm.
If you're talking about an animal like a pet, you can say, I gave it food. We don't really say, I gave food to it. That doesn't really work. It, we would say, I gave it food. I gave it a name, right? Maybe you have an animal, you were giving an animal a name, I gave it a name, right? Fantastic. Um, what about for we? What do you think the object is for we, Filippo?
Our.
It's not going to be our, right? Because, for example, if you are saying they gave or he gave it to, and you're talking about we, right? So, so you and a bunch of people, maybe a bunch of your friends, received something from me. So he gave the gift to Not we, not our, but there's one other word that we can use in English.
Us. Yes, us.
Yeah, fantastic, right? Fantastic. It's us. So with we have two different forms, right? We is the subject pronoun, but when it becomes the object pronoun, it's us, and our is a possessive pronoun,
Yeah.
right? So it's like
Okay.
our house. Yeah, this is why it gets a little confusing. So us, definitely. And then what about for you, plural? What is the subject, or what is the object pronoun?
Maybe you again.
Yeah, exactly, right? Doesn't change, right? So it's you for subject, you for object. And then what about, last but not least, what about for they?
Mm, to them.
Yes, right? He gave it to them, right? It's fantastic. Or he gave it to us. So the object pronouns are me, you, him, her, it, us, you, and them, right? Fantastic. So any questions on these object pronouns, Filippo?
No, it's okay.
I think they make sense, right? Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, fantastic. So I want to see if we can make some sentences with these then. So do you mind giving me an example of a sentence using one of these object pronouns?
Okay. Uh, Today, our the teacher give some homework to us.
Fantastic, fantastic. Today the teacher gave some homework to us. Or honestly, Filippo, to be 100% honest with you, just like we saw with I gave it a name, right? When we use the verb give, we actually move the object pronoun next to give, right? So we can, you said the teacher gave some homework to us, right? It sounds correct, but I think it's a little bit better if we move the us next to the give. So what would that look like?
Give us.
Yeah, the teacher gave us some homework, right? The teacher,
Uh, a question. In this case, I have to say the teacher gives because of the third person.
the teacher, well, actually, so teacher is in third person, right?
Yeah.
But in the past tense of give, it's actually gave
Ah,
for the
okay.
third person. Yeah.
Only in the
So
present we add the s.
the S,
Yeah.
exactly, right? So in the present tense, it would be the teacher gives us homework,
Okay.
right? And in the past tense, the teacher gave us homework, right? The past tense of give, I think all of the forms are gave actually. I gave, you gave, she gave, he gave, we gave, they gave. Yeah, so give, past tense is gave for all the subject pronouns.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's a really good question. So, yeah, the teacher gave us homework. I gave her a gift. She gave me a kiss, whatever. All those different kind of situations. So that's really good. That's really good. Um, the last thing I wanted to focus on, Filippo, was we looked at the subject pronouns, we looked at the object pronouns, and remember, pronouns, there are three main categories, right? So actually there are four main categories. The first category is subject or object, right, which we looked at.
Mhm.
The second one is the gender, right? So what are the male subject pronouns, Filippo?
Mm,
Or there's only one, actually. What's the male subject pronoun?
uh, Subject E.
He, right? Yeah.
He.
So he would be the male subject pronoun. What about the female subject pronoun?
She.
Fantastic. And what about if it doesn't have a gender or it's an object or something like that?
It.
Fantastic, fantastic. He, she, and it, right? So the male, or the ones that we have for the subject pronouns are he, she, and it for gender, female, male, female, and we say in English actually neuter. Neuter means no gender, like it's
Okay.
just an object, yeah. And what about the what is the male object pronoun?
Him.
Him, fantastic, right? And what about the female one?
Her.
Her, fantastic. And also for it, it's just it, right? So
Yeah.
him, her, and it, right? So he, she, it for the subjects, and him, her, and it for the object. So the first category was subject or object. Fantastic. The second one was gender. The third one is first, second, third person, right? So we already looked at that where first person is I, we, second person is you and you, third person is he, she, it, and they, right? Um, and what about the fourth category? The fourth and last category is plural or singular, right? So
Mhm.
we looked at all of these different categories for the subject object. Um, any questions on that stuff so far, Filippo?
No, it's
Everything's
okay.
good? It makes sense?
Yeah.
Okay, great. The last thing I wanted to mention was when we are talking about if the subject and the object are the same, then we use a reflexive pronoun in English, right? So if I am doing something for me, right? So I is the subject, me is the object. If I am doing something for me, then I have to use the reflexive pronoun myself, right? So in English we say, like, uh, I decided to dress myself in nice clothes in the morning, right?
Mhm.
So I'm doing something for myself, dress myself. So the reflexive pronouns, they all end in self or in selves, right? So some of them end in self, other ones end in selves. So I said myself. What do you think the reflexive pronoun is for you, Filippo?
Yourself.
Yourself, right? Fantastic. What about for he?
Himself.
Himself, fantastic. And then for she?
Herself.
Herself, fantastic. What about for it?
Itself.
Itself, yeah. See, there's a pattern, right?
Yeah.
What about for we? This is a little bit different.
Uh, ourself.
Ourselves, fantastic. And then for what about for you, plural?
Yourselves.
Yourselves, fantastic. Yourselves. And what about for they?
Themselves.
Themselves, fantastic, fantastic. So I think you really know this lesson really well, Felipe. This is awesome. Uh, myself, yourself, himself, herself, itself, ourselves, yourselves, themselves, right? So really, it's crucial that we pronounce those last few letters, right?
Mhm.
Selves, right? Sometimes I say it a little bit slower so people can hear it. But yeah, great job with that. Great, great, great job. Um, any questions on any of that, Filippo?
Mm, no, no, no. It's okay.
Makes sense. Makes
Yeah.
sense. Okay. Great, great, great. Filippo, I decided I'm going to change the article that I wanted to talk about because it's not very fun. It seems like it's a very technologically it's not something that we can have a good discussion on. So I'm going to change this article that we have to this one actually, and we're going to talk about a new mobile phone from Google. Have you heard of the Nexus 5
Yeah,
phone?
sure.
Yeah, right.
I
So we're
have a
talking about
Nexus.
you have a Nexus.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Okay. Have you which Nexus is it? Like which type?
Uh,
Which model?
Galaxy Nexus. It's a
Galaxy
little
Nexus.
old, but it still works.
Awesome, awesome. That's good. Then I think we'll be able to enjoy this class then if we talk about this.
Yeah.
So I'm going to screen share as well here, and let's see what this Nexus 5 has in store, right? So it says Google's Nexus 5 to get the fastest mobile download speeds yet, right? Very interesting. So let's see. A novel way of using LTE will see Google's phone download data at 60 megabits per second on Sprint's network, right?
Mhm.
So this is a ridiculously fast speed, right? I mean,
Yeah.
Sprint is a local uh, telephone company here, but 60 megabits per second, people don't get this on their laptops in advanced places, like maybe hospitals get this kind of download speed. What's the download speed normally in like in Milan if you were connected to your laptop, for example, right now? It's pretty
Uh,
good, right?
yeah. I am in a LAN connection with the university because I am in a college, and
Uh-huh.
I have a great connection. And here I download at 3 megabytes, megabytes. Yeah, if it is good, or it would be 500 kilobits.
Wow, yeah. The
It
fastest
depends.
I've It depends, yeah. I know universities usually have very good internet speeds because they are they have the money to have really good infrastructure, really good technology. My university, when I was in school, our download speed was actually very high, and I think it's because I was always in the engineering building. So
Mm,
all the engineers had the best computers and the best download speeds. I think
yeah.
the fastest I saw for download speed was 75 megabytes a second.
Wow. Where?
Yeah, this is in Cornell University in New York, so upstate New
Oh,
York. Yeah, I mean,
okay.
I was in the engineering building, and literally it took 10 minutes to download a movie. I mean, 10 seconds to download a movie, right?
Wow.
Like a Blu-ray quality amazing movie, you would have it in less than 15 seconds. You know,
Wow.
it was
Awesome.
amazing. It was amazing. You could download a lot of different things, and Netflix and things like that. Sometimes we would be able to watch very stream very quickly. So, anyway, this guy, look at the design on this. It's beautiful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, they're making it look. What's the how do you like your Nexus? Is it a good phone?
Yeah, it's a good phone. Sometimes it gives us some problem, but
Yeah.
it, it resolves itself.
Nice, nice. No, that's good to know. Yeah, sometimes I know things like technology always has little problems, but is this one looks like it's designed more like the iPhone, right? I mean,
Yeah.
look at how thin it is here, right? It's very seems
Mhm.
like a very and the screen is large too as well, right?
Yeah, it's 1 inch more than the other.
Nice, nice. So great. Let's see what they're saying here. Technology developed by cell network Sprint should see the Nexus 5 smartphone announced by Google today download data significantly faster than any smartphone currently on the market. That's thanks to a technology called Sprint calls Spark or Tri-band. It can move data faster than any competing network by using three different chunks of radio spectrum owned by the company in parallel. Wow, I had no idea you could do that. Um, at a press event in Burlingame, California yesterday, Sprint CEO Dan Hess presided over a demonstration in which a Spark link in a lab transferred data at 1 gigabyte per second.
Wow.
Wow, that is awesome, right?
Yeah.
Uh, Hesse said that the first version of Spark will allow for only 60 megabit per second downloads, and that by the end of 2015, it should offer 150 megabits per second. That's incredible. That is awesome. I mean, and
Yeah.
end of 2015 is only 2 years away, right? I mean, I think we can definitely wait for 2 years. Um, Spark uses the 4G data transfer protocol, LTE, over all three of its links. Most networks have only a single piece of spectrum dedicated to LTE and offer speeds in the range of 10 to 20 megabits per second. The Nexus 5 will be available to buy from tomorrow, making it the first tri-band phone to hit the market. On November 8, it will be joined by a handful more in the form of new versions of Samsung's Galaxy S4 Mini and Galaxy Mega and LG's G2. Okay, interesting. I haven't heard of these phones, the Galaxy Mega or the LG's G2. Spark is already deployed in New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Tampa, and Miami, with more cities to get it over the coming months, according to Sprint. Rolling out the technology involves upgrading cell phone towers with new equipment to be able to perform the triple channel trick, right? So very fascinating stuff. I mean, so what's your reaction to this article, Filippo?
Maybe I don't know if this connection isn't too much. Maybe, you know. because okay, it's great. I have 60 megabits per second, but how can I use it? I don't know. You
Exactly
know,
right.
the application are maybe 1 gigabyte for a smartphone, so
Mhm.
you can take it in 1 second or 10 seconds. It doesn't matter. Actually, with the 1 megabyte of connection, you download it in 1 minute circa. But
Yeah, right.
it's still a 1 giga of application. So I don't know.
Yeah, sometimes I don't know why people are so crazy about the speed, right? I mean, honestly, the difference we're talking about is a difference in maybe seconds, not minutes, right?
Hmm.
And not even, I mean, if it takes me, if I'm on a slower connection and it takes me, I don't know, 30 seconds to download an app and you have it in 1 second, what's the difference?
Yeah,
You know what I mean? Sometimes
yeah,
I think we get crazy about that kind of stuff. But that being said, do you think they'll make money off of this?
yes, yeah, sure. They
Of
make a
course.
name. They make a lot of. They introduce some the technology for these things. Maybe for
Yeah.
this they do this.
Yeah, and they're making a brand, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing with a lot of these tech companies that it's all about the brand, right? It's all about them saying, we were the first. Google was the first company to have a Nexus phone, and Sprint helped us build the Nexus phone that had the best connectivity, the fastest download speeds, everything, 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 right? It's because right now it's all about a competition between Google, Apple, maybe Microsoft. I don't know. Microsoft doesn't do anything.
No,
Yeah, but mainly
six
Google and
percent.
Apple. Yeah, Microsoft. I've seen the Windows Phone. Have you seen the Windows Phone?
Yeah,
I don't
not
like
so
it.
bad. I'm not so
Yeah,
bad, but is I don't know. It hasn't so much application, so it is like useless. I
yeah.
think this is the
It,
situation.
it it doesn't have that many applications. It kind of sometimes it freezes randomly. It doesn't work.
Ah,
Uh,
okay.
my friend has it. My friend has it. He hates it. He actually works for Microsoft and he hates it. So it's
Great.
very funny. Yeah. Hey Ken, how's it going? Welcome.
Oh, yes, I'm fine. How are you?
Good, good, good. Did you get a chance to hear me when we were reading the article, Ken?
Yes, I'm listening to you.
Uh-huh.
And yeah, maybe I checked LTE and tree band on the Google.
Uh-huh.
Kind of such kind of jargon is a bit difficult to understand. Maybe tree band is three different type of
Three
band
different bands, yeah.
using.
So they actually mentioned in the article, Ken, let me just reread that
Mm,
part for you. So
okay.
that's thanks to a technology Sprint calls Spark or Tri-band. It can move data faster than any computing network by using three different chunks of radio spectrum
Oh,
owned by the company in parallel. So this company Sprint has ownership of three different parallel bands of radio spectrum. Most
to
other
speed up.
companies to speed up their connections, yeah. And I don't
Okay.
really know what a band is, honestly. I mean, I know the radio spectrum, like megahertz, like the mathematical
Mhm.
design of a spectrum, but I don't know specifically how these bands work in parallel. Maybe something with telecommunications, honestly. Uh, but yeah, what's your reaction to this, Ken? Do you think people are gonna go crazy about this?
Actually, I'm still using mobile phone. I don't know so much about smartphone.
Oh, okay.
But maybe speed up maybe can appeal to some geek people
Yeah.
maybe some people want to have a cutting edge smartphone or
Absolutely. I think that's a
yeah,
great point. Having a cutting edge smartphone. What do you mean by cutting edge, Ken?
kind of most developed.
Yeah, most developed, the newest and the best, right?
Yes, yes.
Yeah, absolutely the newest and the best. And I mean, do you guys really think people need this much technology in their hands? I mean, speed, this much accessibility, or are we overdoing things a little bit? What do you guys think?
I think that's it's too much for the great part of the people. Maybe for work it could be necessary. Have a connection very fluent. Doesn't have a problem during a call that you have an important call at work and it stops. No,
Yeah,
it shouldn't happen. Definitely.
yeah,
And maybe if the new phone is more secure and more is designed very well, it could be great. But for the common people, I don't know how can I say it. For the other people, maybe it's too much.
yeah. But do you agree then, Filippo, that maybe the craziness behind these devices is mainly because people want to have that most cutting edge technology? Is that why they're making money? I mean,
Sorry.
or like, what's the reason behind the popularity then? I mean, is it because
Ah,
people love to have the most cutting edge thing?
mm, yeah, maybe because of the brand, because they want something that costs that is good. They want to appear to the other with the new thing.
Yeah, right. They want to say like how I mean, one of the other things I think that these companies do really well is first they create a brand, right? And
Mhm.
then they build a base, right? They build a base of supporters that becomes very loyal to them, right? So you once you have a loyalty base or a base of very, very crazy followers, then you can always make money, right? I mean, look at Apple. Like
Yeah,
their base is almost like brainwashed, They have a
yeah.
brainwashed base. Yeah, Apple mania, right?
And most of them they don't know anything about technology.
Yeah, I love Apple stuff. I have Apple products, but I
Yeah,
would
are
say
good.
yeah, they're good. They're good quality, but some people like they will never touch an Android phone or they hate anything that's not Apple, right? And every time Apple comes out with this or comes out with that, like even, I have a friend who he has an iPad, I think, and he will only buy the Apple certified iPad case. He won't buy any other case. I told him the other day, like, listen, man, you go online and they sell so many cases, like high quality stuff, beautiful products. No, he's not going to buy. He's only going to buy from Apple because Apple's stuff is the best.
It's almost like it was happening for the rock band, you know. But
Yeah, like
nowadays, people
uh
music lost such kind of function on the society. People interest shift to the gadget. So having cutting gadget or it used to be maybe Beatle barrier at that time. Listen to cutting edge music
hmm
like Beatles, appeal. I'm different from you, or I'm different from the old society or something like that. Maybe
Yeah,
some people want to appeal then by having
Yeah,
such Apple gadgets or cutting a gadget.
yeah. Yeah, Felipe, what do you think about that?
I agree with with Ken.
Uh-huh.
Uh, yeah.
It doesn't, sometimes I feel like, honestly, like it makes people who don't have any of these technologies really, I mean, it puts them on the outside, right? I mean, I know many people in the US who would love to have Apple products, but I mean, Apple products are extremely expensive, right? And
Mhm.
when we see society is just so focused on these material, you know, the mania of buying the most cutting edge, the most, high performance, new, the best, everything. I mean, I think it takes away from what we can do. Like a lot of people, what do they do when they buy their new iPhone? They throw away their old one, or they don't even recycle it. They don't donate it. They just, I mean, people do all sorts of things with this stuff, right? Um, is it good for society, guys, to have such a materialistic outlook? I mean, what do you guys think about that? I can speak for the United States, and sometimes it's sad because I know families that are saving money for buying iPhones or Samsung Galaxies or whatever, and they
Mm,
don't. I mean, that's something that they see as a luxury, you know. And in the same country, we have people that they have three iPads for they have one for their 2-year-old, one for the 2-year-old son, one for the 6-year-old daughter, one for the mother, one for the father. I mean, everybody is just looking at a screen. Nobody is talking to each other. You know, they're
Mm,
looking
yeah.
they're looking at a screen all day. I mean, is it that crazy in Japan or in Italy?
I think.
yeah, you go,
Go
Ken.
ahead. Go ahead.
Okay. The this situation of the family I haven't seen and and even never heard about. But the fact that someone that has more than one, yeah, the people that have two tablets or is so consumistic,
Yeah.
it's the same here, like you have described before.
Yeah, the materialistic people, right? I mean,
Yeah, materialistic.
it's okay, honestly, if you like that stuff. I mean, I'm not saying don't buy it, but I feel like the focus is always on the best and the new and the whatever, and it's almost like a competition. Like sometimes people, like socially speaking, people feel inferior because somebody buys the newest phone and they think, oh, now my phone is old, and it just, I mean, it's like a competition between individual people also, you know.
Mhm.
I don't know if that's necessarily the safest thing. I mean, I guess between friends it's okay, but if it gets to be something that is damaging, then it might not be good for society. I mean, I don't know. It's like the have and the have-nots, right? I have this, you don't have that, so I am richer than you. I'm more technologically advanced than you. I'm more cutting edge than you. I mean, what do you think about this, Ken? I mean, you heard from me and Filippo.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think the kind of how can I say having several iPods might be useful, but at the same time, you know, same family search their different interests in the different computers, so communication is reducing. So
Yeah.
it's ironical situation, this kind of basically kind of PC or such kind of thing, gadget for communication, but that encourages communicating inside family. So, and when I was a kid, media often criticize TV. The
Yeah,
the
TV limits social interaction, right?
yes, but
Yeah.
even though uh, only one TV in the living room at that time when I was a kid, so same family member
Same here, same here,
enjoy the
right?
share the same feeling in front of TV.
Uh-huh.
But after I grew up, every family member began to have their own TV in their own room.
Yeah.
So we don't have we couldn't share the feeling anymore in front of the TV. Maybe
Yeah.
same thing happening in PC world now, and because this world, capitalism world, the one of the character of capitalist world, they always company always have to kind of stimulate people's desire to buy. So it is natural. They compete each other harshly and they appeal. This is fast, new, cool, or maybe so
Yeah.
consumer, yeah,
That's
urge to
interesting.
buy these kind of things. Yeah.
Absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, Felipe, did you want to say something?
Yeah. No, no, no.
You
It's okay.
agree?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's sad, because honestly, I had the exact same thing happen in my house, Ken. Like when I was younger, my parents limited the amount of TV I could watch. They said, maybe there were 2 or 3 programs I really liked. I watched the 2 or 3 programs. Then my mom said, okay, do something else. Work on work on a puzzle. Some coloring books. Do something. You know, take your mind off of this talking box. She likes to call the TV a talking box. You know, that it's just it's not stimulating you, right? You're just watching. You're getting lazy by just watching a program and whatever. Now every phone is a TV, right? I mean, what is YouTube? A YouTube is a million person TV. I mean, or international TV station. I mean, anybody. How many hours have I wasted in my life on YouTube? I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I've lost months of my life. If you take all the hours I spent on Facebook and on YouTube combined, I mean, probably you can say 6 months of my life were on those websites. You know, it's terrible. I mean, I think. I mean, of course, we are using technology for a lot of good, but we can't let it get to that level of addiction. Which I think some people are addicted to technology. How about you, Filippo? What would you say about maybe the idea that like technology, are we becoming too dependent on technology these days? Like one thing I like to talk about sometimes is relationships, right? So now people text a lot more than they talk to each other, right? Is
Yeah.
that a problem? Is that natural for people to use SMS and texting so much more than talking?
Nah, it helps when there is a lot of distance between the two persons. It
Hmm.
could be that there is a real distance, or when you can't see the other for a lot of time, and then it is good talk a lot at the phone.
Hmm.
But I think that it's too much when you want to go to see the other. So spend sometimes to reach the other person
Hmm.
and talk and be there personally. Instead of it, you use the phone or the PC. Is really a bad situation.
Yeah, and Ken, what do you think? Are we getting too dependent on technology?
But I'm really dependent on technology, and
Yeah.
for the thanks to the internet, I can, enter the class and I can take, the English class
Yeah.
and whenever I want. So, uh, but things have advantages and disadvantages. So
Yeah.
maybe the problem is a balance to keep a proper
Absolutely.
balance.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, young people in this day and age, they don't remember the life before the internet, right? So
Yeah.
I don't know if they know what life is like without the internet. I mean, I remember I had to go to a library because we used books, like this is a book, guys, a book, you know, and,
A real book.
a real book,
Wow.
yeah. And then I feel like kids today, they don't even read paper books anymore, I mean, it's it's just a different lifestyle. I mean, like they were saying, children are now learning to read on like their iPads or on their tablets. Like there are special games for children, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. They learn all of that on their iPods, or on
Mm.
their iPads. So it's interesting. It's a wild new world. I mean, maybe because I didn't grow up in that environment, I am a little suspicious of this, but um, I don't know. Have you? I think children are still mostly normal in other parts of the world. Not, they know what books are. They know what other things are. Is it the same in Italy and Japan, or do you guys see 2-year-olds walking around with iPads and doing that kind of stuff?
Mm. Actually, most textbook here are on the paper-based still,
Yeah,
not ebook.
yeah.
And I'm personally afraid of children's eyesight.
Hmm.
Still, I think PC display is you know cause a more burden than the paper reading. So because my eyesight tend to be bad, because I addicted to watching TV. So
Hmm.
I'm afraid of, same kind of thing happening
Yeah.
among current children.
I mean, the reason I wear glasses is my eyesight also decreased when I started to focus a lot on technology. Like when I was reading a lot, sometimes in bad light, you know, or if I was watching or playing too many video games. Those are the two things I did a lot. I read a lot and I played a lot of video games. So both were damaging to my eyes. It's interesting, but there are now these other technologies that say that the display is very beneficial for the eyes. It's like you're reading a real book. Like Barnes and Noble is an American company, and I think they came out with something called the Nook. Have you guys heard of the Nook?
No.
It's a tablet that they say that the Nook has paper-like quality. So even though it's a screen, when you look at the tablet, it looks just like paper. Yeah, it's an e-reader, exactly, Filippo.
Okay.
So it's one of those things where it's a very, I think it's called. Oh no, guys, I'm sorry. The Nook is from Barnes and Noble. I'm talking about the Amazon Kindle. Have you guys heard
Yeah.
of the Kindle?
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
Kindle.
there's a Kindle White also, I think, which is like very much like paper. That's what they say, that it's very much like paper. So maybe those are better options for people who have bad eyesight, but honestly, I don't know. Filippo, do you use e-readers?
No. I've read a book on my smartphone. It
Yeah,
was not so good, but sometimes there is some PDF that I would read in my bed or while I'm traveling, and so I do
exactly.
it.
Yeah, there is convenience, right? I mean, technology is great, but I think you guys were correct when you said that the balance is really what's important, right?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. Well, guys, it was a great class. Did you guys have any questions about any of the things we talked about? We had some words here: materialistic, loyalty-based, cutting-edge, brand. We also talked about pronouns, so subject pronouns, object pronouns, reflexive pronouns. Any questions on any of those things, guys?
Loyalty based. What is mean?
Okay. I'm sorry. What was that, Filippo?
Loyalty based.
Loyalty base. So
Yeah.
when a company creates a loyalty base, right, they are making a base of customers who are very loyal to them, right?
Okay.
Who are crazy
Followers.
about their products. Followers, yeah, you can say a following, loyal base. You can say loyal base or loyalty base or dedicated followers. For example, people who are crazy about Apple. That's Apple's base, right?
Okay.
Apple can rely on several million people. Anytime they introduce anything, they will make money because of those millions of people. So they have a very crazy, very rich and very crazy fanatical base,
Yeah.
loyalty base. So yeah, great question, Filippo. Besides that, did you guys have anything else you wanted to mention or talk about?
Yeah, I think it's true because when the Apple's presentation happens, a lot of tweets are related to the presentation.
Yes,
Yeah, so people
yes.
are very interested. Some people are very interested in that kind of thing
And
nowadays.
now every other company, I'm not sure if you guys noticed, but they all try to imitate Steve Jobs when he revealed something, right? So Steve Jobs used to wear like a black sweater and jeans, right? And he would be on stage, and it would be a very simple stage, right? Just the product, and behind him a big screen with the product features, right? Now, when Google does something, they have that same design. They try to go for a very simple stage, but then the actual product they feature in a very beautiful way, and they get everybody excited. I mean, I think Apple really started this revolution, right?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Sure.
Apple really. It's crazy. And how much money are these people making? Sometimes when I think about it, it makes my head spin. I mean, billions of dollars probably, right? Google, I mean, definitely billions of dollars, but I wonder how many billions of dollars Google and Apple have made. And now Amazon is also with their e-readers. They're doing very well. The Kindle is very popular, so maybe you guys should invent the next big thing. Come on, guys. You guys are using technology. It's time to become billionaires. Maybe a Colingo language learning reader. I don't know. Maybe something cool. Right. We can think about some stuff, but yeah. Anyway, guys, any other questions? Things happening, going on?
No.
No.
Nothing else? All right. Well, Filippo, it was great to have you in my class, man. I hope you can join again. I'm always
Yes.
looking for new students. I have this time, guys, is my new time from Mondays through Fridays. I have a class at this hour, and then also 2 hours before this time, I have another class. So I have two classes in the morning and two classes at night. Filippo, if you want, you can add me on Facebook, whatever. If you have questions, I would love to help you with any. I'd love to help you as a resource if you have any English-related questions or things like that.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Thank you
absolutely,
very
Filippo. It's a
much.
pleasure. Awesome. Ken, have a good one too, then, guys. Take care.
Take
Take
care.
care.
Yep, we'll see
Bye.
each other soon. Bye bye. Do you maybe tablets, smartphones, laptops? What are the things you use most frequently?
Much frequently, I use the PC, the laptop,
Uh-huh.
which is an Asus from 2 years ago.
Uh-huh.
And I use maybe more than laptop actually, the smartphone.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it's portable, no, and you can use it in any kind of situation, and yeah, it's very useful.
Yeah,
Uh,
smartphones, they have everything on them, right? You use apps of different kinds.
yeah, and you can connect to the world via smartphones. You can do a lot of things.
Yeah, I almost feel like there's nothing you can't do on a smartphone, right? I mean, you
Yeah,
can you can order food, you can call people, you can go online, you can look at the weather, see what the weather is like, everything. I mean, uh, what do you use your phone for most? Is it for to call people or for all the other stuff that you can do?
other stuff,
Yeah,
surely.
yeah, right. People play games on their phones too. I never really understood that part. I mean, for video games, I like to play maybe computer or like PlayStation, Xbox, but I don't know why people. I mean, because the screen is so small, right? For me, it's difficult to. Well, also it depends on the phone. I think the
Yeah.
Samsung Galaxy S4 has a really large screen, I think.
Yeah,
Uh,
I have a smartphone that is similar to the Galaxy S4.
Yeah,
So
so you have a
I
larger screen?
play Flash games. Yeah, maybe. I think that is surely little
Hey, how's it going, Filippo?
Hello. Good. Thank you.
Good, good, awesome. Welcome to class. Where are you from, Filippo?
I'm from Italy.
From Italy.
Yeah.
Awesome, awesome. Great country.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Have
I
you
haven't
been in Italy?
I haven't been, but I've heard a lot of good things. A lot of Italian people. I
Yeah.
know a lot of Italian people, so it's a nice country from what I hear.
Yeah.
What part of Italy?
Milan, in the north.
Milan. The north, yeah, absolutely. A lot of fashion, a lot of food, a lot of
Yeah.
great places. That's great. That's great.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And
Uh,
you? Where are you from?
I live in Madison, Wisconsin. Madison is about 2 hours from Chicago, so north central United States. It's pretty cold.
Okay.
Uh, not a lot happening here. Uh, def Definitely not as international a city as Milan.
But it's
Milan is much
America.
more internet. How long have you been studying on Colingo?
From maybe 1 month, circa
Oh,
3 weeks.
okay. That's awesome. Yeah, I've been teaching on Colingo maybe for 3 months now.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's nice to have you in class.
Yeah.
Have you been learning English for long?
So I say
Yeah,
I
that's
will
still
do more than
that's still
once.
good. Yeah, it's
I
still
hope
good.
so.
At least if it's 1 hour a day, then that's definitely something that gives you more of a progress than maybe 1 hour a week for obviously, right? So it's good. It's good. Yeah, as much as you can do, I think that would be helpful to you. Awesome, awesome. So yeah, Filippo, we're just going to be waiting maybe for a couple more minutes. I wanted to begin though by asking a question. So today's
Yes.
article that we're going to be looking at later on, today we are going to be focusing first on the personal pronouns in English. So we use personal pronouns. It's a very fancy way of saying that, they are the words that we use to talk about subjects and objects in English. So, for
Mhm.
example, I, you, he, she, it, we, they, these are pronouns, and we have subject pronouns and we have object pronouns. So, we're going to be focusing on those first, and then in the second part of the class, we are going to be looking at um, kind of an advanced article. I am going to see if we can maybe find something else that's a little bit interesting. It's about the moon, and so NASA is developing a new satellite communication system that allows satellites in space to communicate easier uh, with places on Earth. So a lot of different technological advancements over the past couple of years, right? I mean, the internet, computers, everything that we now have in our homes did not exist many years ago, or even 10, 15 years ago, they weren't as um, available as they are today. So just wanted to begin the conversation by asking you, Filippo, which kinds of technology do you use frequently? Longer than that, or is Colunga your first English learning?
I study English in school, so in high school, in medium school,
Nice,
and
nice.
and during university, I'm studying some article in English or some book in English too. So I read more than speak English
Mm-hmm.
this year,
Yeah,
and now I
that's
have to speak in English.
yeah. You have to build your conversation skills.
Yeah, exactly.
Nice, nice. That's good. No, it's always good. I've seen a lot of students who have really improved their communication just by speaking with us, speaking in normal conversation about different topics. So yeah, it's gonna be fun to see where you go. Have you noticed that it's been easier, that it's becoming easier for you now to speak?
Yeah, in this month, maybe something, not so much, but something is going up.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, I see. I know that when I speak, it's not so fluently, and I make a lot of mistakes. But
Yeah.
some week ago, I I was more stuck when I speak English.
Yeah, no, absolutely. It takes time. It takes time to develop that confidence, to develop your ideas. But I think when you practice, it gets a lot better. You get to experience more of you get to experience that learning when you are practicing well, maybe regularly, like once a day. If you speak 1 hour, I think that's a big
Yeah,
improvement. Yeah.
maybe, yeah, unfortunately, I study in calling only 1 hour